Hello everyone and welcome back to the SteemTrail Gaming News. Today is the 25th of January 2018. My name is Kralizec and I will be your host for this evening. Really sorry about the quality for today and probably for tomorrow, as I'm visiting my parents once again, same as it was during Christmas. This time I'm here to actually vote for our president, so hope that sort of makes it okay. Today we got only two pieces of news for you. First, it's about a loot box gambling bingo that, what did I just say? The loot box gambling bill that is being introduced by a Washington senator. And secondly, we're going to talk about a lawsuit that has been finally settled between the creators of some Viewbots and Twitch. And the creators are now forced to pay almost $1.4 million to Twitch in reparations. But let's begin with the loot box bill, as I sort of see this as the bigger issue that really needs to be solved fairly soon. Otherwise, the gaming industry is going to have big problems as a whole. So, a senator named Kevin Ranker, who is a Democratic state senator, has introduced a bill that he's hoping to either fix the issue, address it, or at least alleviate it in some way. Right now, the bill is being talked about in Congress, and obviously there are a lot of things that still need to be determined about the bill. For first thing, it needs to be whether loot boxes are actually considered gambling or not. That's the first thing that needs to be determined. If they will not be determined as gambling, then, well, the bill is sort of off the table. But if, hopefully, they will be determined as gambling, second thing needs to come into debate. And that is if the loot boxes should be even allowed in games. Whether gambling should be a part of video games in general. And here I actually think they should be allowed to stay. I don't think there's a problem with having loot boxes in general. They just need to be disclosed in a very particular manner. And sadly, that's not happening right now. I would obviously wish if they could just disappear. That would be a sort of ideal world. But I sort of doubt that proposition will happen, as I feel like companies should have the right to do stupid decisions. You know, if they want to have loot boxes, that, you know, I feel over time will actually just piss off their consumers, and the consumers will go away from these companies. So they have the right to do that, to piss off their own consumers and lose that base of people who buy their stuff. But let's say the loot boxes stayed, and one last thing needs to be taken into consideration. What sort of games are allowed to have loot boxes in them? More specifically, what is the age from which games can be sold if they have loot boxes? As I repeatedly stated, loot boxes aren't really a problem for adults. And sorry if you're an adult that is being addicted to loot boxes, then you probably have larger psychological problems that need to be solved, because, well, you would just get addicted to any form of gambling, not just loot boxes. Just loot boxes are very easily accessible. The bigger problem is that loot boxes are a form of gambling that is currently accessible to minors, to children, and that needs to be solved very quickly. Right now, we don't have any sort of regulation. I'm sort of hoping, you know, even though I'm pro free market, that doesn't mean regulation doesn't have its place. It's the same thing as oh, we shouldn't have lead in our food because lead is bad for our health. So are loot boxes. Loot boxes are bad for our psychological health, and I honestly wish they just wouldn't be allowed. But Senator Ranker had actually a pretty nice thing to say. If parents realize how predatory these games are, then they wouldn't want them under their Christmas tree. They wouldn't want them going to their kids. And yes, that is another factor, that a lot of parents just aren't gamers. You know, they don't understand what loot boxes actually are, and they're like, oh, it's going to be full of loot. It's just, you know, you're going to probably like kill the big bad baddie and it's going to give you some stuff. No, that's not the thing. Loot boxes are a thing that you need to buy, pay money, and hope that you will get something good. It's essentially slot machines with actually prettier graphics, and the visuals of slot machines play a huge factor. People don't realize this, and the fact that games can actually improve on this plays a huge factor in how addicted they are. And man, it just makes me sad. One other thing that should be mentioned, this isn't the first law that has been proposed, or more specifically, this isn't the first time it's being talked about, a law being proposed, as pretty recently another Democrat state representative, this one was Kralizec from Hawaii, who had a press conference about loot boxes in games, and that he wants to introduce some similar legislation. But, well, actually, you know, this guy from Washington, Mr. Ranker, was the first one, so kudos to you. Hopefully you get some work done. Currently the bill could just be thrown off the table, but obviously we're just all hoping that will happen. Let's move on to our second piece of news for today, which is about a Twitch Viewbot, which is now finally going to cease existing. More specifically, probably wasn't existing for some time right now, as in 2016, Twitch filed a lawsuit against a few bot makers that essentially just worked as, oh, I'm watching your channel, making it appear it's bigger, making it more likely that people will come here. It's a story old as the internet, and since people want to watch popular content, that's, you know, just the mentality of people. We are really a herd animal, whether we like to realize it or not. People like to do the popular thing. And if you have a channel who has 1,000 viewers, you have a 1,000 bigger chance to be viewed than if you have a single viewer on their channel. So it was worth it to pay some money to have some artificial viewers. And right now the lawsuit has finally been decided, and the bot creators have been ordered to pay nearly $1.4 million to Twitch. More specifically, they have been ordered to pay about $55,000 in statutory damages to Twitch, and another $1,316,139, as those were the profits they made from running these services. That's insane, you know? They made over $1 million just by providing services that essentially fake views on different channels. They were charging as much as $760 per month. So let's say I don't see how actually long their services were running. Let's say the platform was running for a year. Okay, I think a year is fair. That means if a user was there using this service for a whole year, he would pay on average, let's say $5,000. So $5,000 divided by 1.3 million, that's more than 21,000. Yeah, it's above 20,000 people who used these services. That's 20,000 channels who had fake viewers. Seriously? I can totally understand why Twitch went there with their lawsuit. They actually claimed that the biggest problem is let me actually list the original complaint. As a result, Twitch may lose its carefully developed reputation as the premier service for quality social video game content, the ability to attract and retain users, and the goodwill of the community. Obviously, all of these things could have been easily influenced by viewer bots. You know, imagine you're coming to a channel who's playing, I don't know, Hearthstone, as is one of the most popular games to Twitch. And you'd be, oh, this guy has 1,000 viewers, let's check him out. And he would just be boring. You'd be like, how the fuck does this guy have 1,000 viewers? Obviously, you probably wouldn't come back, but still, there would be about, let's say, a tenth, maybe 20% of people who would come to these channels because they would be expecting to get at least decent content with those numbers, to find that it was just shitty content. It would be like, oh man, Twitch is just going bad. You know, that would be their assumption. It wouldn't be the assumption that, oh, these are just bots. Because people don't think like that. They would think, oh, this is because Twitch is just going to shit. And maybe they would start looking for a different platform. That just may be the case. And with that being said, that's going to be it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please consider giving us a thumbs up here on YouTube and subscribing to our channel. If you are watching this on stream, please consider giving us an upvote and following our blog. Either way, you should leave a comment. I think both today's articles are very interesting. You should probably leave a comment concerning both. Be also sure to tune in tomorrow, as should just mention tomorrow probably quality will be a little bit shittier than usual still. But on Saturday it should be back normal, as I will be back home. And that's it. So see you guys later with more gaming content.